developed and published by CD Projekt in 2020, originally for the Sony PlayStation 4, personal computer and Microsoft Xbox One, was that of Cyberpunk 2077. The premise of the original game was that it was set in the future where advanced technologies is pivotal in everyday life, and the main character, V, has to deal with a mysterious implant. The game was highly anticipated on early concepts of it showed revolutionary gameplay on details for a modern video gaming experience, but upon release, the game later had one of the worst launches for a title in modern video gaming, as there were countless problems with the game. Despite the fact that CD Projekt later spent years fixing the game's problems on repairing its broken trust with consumers for the disappointment that was Cyberpunk 2077, later versions of the fixed game proved to be an exceptional experience, but was never quite the original vision that the game first was. In 2022, originally airing on the United States-based Netflix streaming service was that of Cyberpunk Edgerunners. The series was 10 episodes focusing on the main character of David Martinez and supporting character of Lucy Kushinada. The short series dealt with both of them living and trying to survive within Santo Domingo, the most crime-ridden, poorest, and most industrialized district of Night City. When originally released, it received pivotal acclaim from both critics and viewers as being a fresh new story for the concept of Cyberpunk 2077, as well as the lore conceived of within the series was so enjoyed and so respected that it later became official canon for the 2077 franchise. It was later theorized that one of the main reasons as to why it was such a groundbreaking and positively reacted to series, which arguably began the re-examination of Cyberpunk 2077 as a game, because it didn't focus on the whole situation with Johnny Silverhand. The character that viewers focused on during that time was one that actually didn't have much appearances in the series, being that of Rebecca, a member of Maine's crew. Details or specific aspects of Rebecca were intentionally left vague or not even mentioned at all in the series, due to the fact that in the original screenplays for Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Rebecca wasn't a part of it at all. Studio Trigger, the animation studio that did the work for the series, partly conceived of the character concept on Rebecca, was later pitched to and inserted into the series. As there were initial disagreements about putting Rebecca into the series, at the time the basic outline of the series was already completed, and the series was about to be animated as well as being put into full production. But there were some concerns that Night City being too depressing or even ruthless might affect the series even more so, with Rebecca being that of a comedic character, as well as her unique situation with David also proved to be an interesting detail that made much better sense in the series than if she weren't to have been included, as eventually CD Projekt Red allowed the character into production of Edgerunners with everything considered at the time. Rebecca's situation with David in Edgerunners was actually quite interesting, as the both of them became mutual friends through gigs as well as missions that came their way as being a part of Maine's crew. But Rebecca later developed feelings for David, but was unable to express herself at all, as she mentioned the situation to Kiwi, as she sarcastically said that Rebecca should literally change her entire appearance as well as her personality to be more like Lucy's, to which Rebecca actually considered for such a time, just for him to even notice her more than a friend. Her sudden and unexpected death by Atom Smasher in the final episode was also considered to be one of the most graphic in this series, and reminded viewers how ruthless or even hopeless Night City is, and how sadistic Atom Smasher was. Sometimes a character could be forgotten because they weren't originally in an animated spin-off of a video game, but once the character was depicted in the series, they were reacted to very favorably by all who had watched or experienced it.